In this episode of Street Tales, I got to sit down with Travis Lyons. He's the husband of Catherine Boyle, who's been on the show. And I had a brief intro. Catherine, as he says, Kat, was like, oh, you should talk to my husband. He had a wild upbringing, combat veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and just kind of all over the map as far as his experience and his growth and his progression. And I will say, he, true to form, we're going to have him back on. He dropped a lot of stories, a lot of things that we didn't have time to explore. We were just trying to be respectful of each other's time. He's a busy man. But again, he's another individual, unfortunately raised in a domestic violence situation at home, inner city, Bronx kid, but he overcame that, joined the military. He was in the Army, was in combat. His unit got blown up by an IED. Some of his friends died. Some of them were seriously injured. He escaped somewhat unscathed with injuries to his hand. It was something I hadn't thought about in talking to him. But after that traumatic event, he still has a contract. So once they made sure he was good, it was like, all right, next deployment's at 6 a.m. tomorrow. You got to go. I want to explore that a little more when I have him back on. But also, once he got out, he was kind of lost. He didn't know what to do, which is not uncommon, unfortunately, with people who leave the military or law enforcement, especially after a combat deployment. We talked through some of those things and his path and how he came to be what he's doing today. Dude's super into fitness, and we chat a little bit about the grimy gym versus like an Equinox gym, which I believe through the episode I kept saying Equinox, but it's Equinox. I've been corrected. Also, dealing with his relationship and where he's going now. He's a motivated, driven individual. I wish him nothing but success, and I can't wait to have him back on. But I hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you so much. All right, welcome back, everybody. A man in his own right with his own story, but also part of a powerhouse couple with Catherine Boyle, who we've already had on. And she was like, if you think what I have to say is interesting, you should talk to my husband. And you graciously said, absolutely, I'll talk to you about it no matter what.
Absolutely.
Sweet, brother. Well, I appreciate your time, and we'll just kind of get right into it.
Yeah.
We just like to start off with where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up? And then with the intent of like, what kind of led you to your career path?
Absolutely. So just to start off with a quick spin, I actually changed my last name. So my name now is Travis Lyons. And
I'm sorry.
No, you are good. I was born and raised as a land boy. So I'm from the Bronx, over from the university, grew up to the age of 10 over on 109th, the Grand Concourse. And after that, I actually lived in Parkchester. So we bounced around just a little bit.
Okay.
And parents were separated. So I think they got divorced by the time I was 3, but they had 2 completely different lifestyles. Father wanted to be the friend. Mom was like, you're going to go to school and you're going to do good. So very strict.
Mama's strict one?
Yeah, very, very strict. Dad was the loose one, just wanted to have fun. That's right.
You know what? I know that drives, growing up in a similar situation, the mom is always like, your dad is always the one. He just comes around, has fun, buys all the gifts and plays, but I'm the one that has to make sure you do your homework, go to school, blah, 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 blah.
I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, I'm familiar with that aspect. Any sports or anything like that growing up, high school or anything?
No. So growing up, I played handball. That was it. That was the big thing. Played a lot of tag, played a lot of manhunt. But when it came to high school, we were the first all boys graduating class. So we didn't have any sports. Basketball sort of came into it around 11th grade, but that was a whole ordeal. I mean, there was a lot of racism going on in the school. There was a lot of obvious things. It's even in hindsight, you look at it and it's like, that agenda, that was being pushed pretty hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't want to listen because, like many things, when you point out, you start to ruffle some feathers and that gets people upset.
So hold on, just because this is what happens during the show. Did you go to an all-boys school or was it an all-boys class?
Yeah, so this is how it was. We were the first all-boys public high school called Eagle Academy.
Got it.
And when it was created, there was no building. So we had to share schools. So we shared classrooms with the first school that the principal created.
Yeah.
And that was law, government, and justice. So while half the school was that, girls, boys, mixed, we had our all boys classrooms. Yeah. So in between classes, we met the girls, we dated them. It was hard. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to say. I mean, I was definitely a troublemaker. At that point, I was super rebellious.
Well, maybe you don't know to the extent that you know now or knew then. What was the reasoning for? I'm interested in this. And maybe back up. I'm sorry, I do this a lot,
Yeah.
but there's a charter school in Tampa that does this. It's the same school, but they separated the entire school to all girls, all boy classes. Kind of maybe what you're talking about, but like they would intermingle in the hallways, but the actual classroom experience would be all boys or all girls. The explanation that I heard, again, I didn't go there, and neither did my kids, was boys and girls learn differently, so they would kind of approach subjects differently. That doesn't sound like what was happening
No,
with you,
not
but
at all. But I
okay.
vibe with that. I get it.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you're also getting rid of the distraction.
Yeah. Well, that was the other part. Yeah.
Yeah, and I respect that. No, so the school was made up of about, I'd say like 90% blacks. You had like 7% Hispanics, and the remaining 3% were whatevers, like one white guy, one Asian guy, and that was your kid. And they had this organization called 100 Black Men who were there to be mentors as part of this. The blacks fought the Hispanics, the Dominicans fought the Puerto Ricans fought the Dominicans, and the white boy and the Asian guy blended into the background. No one cared. It was too much.
Yeah. They just got left out.
Yeah. But by 11th grade, though, we ended up moving out of this high school and moving into a middle school with like fifth graders and fourth graders. And so we were like split between these buildings, and it was just absolute. You can tell they were figuring it out as they went along.
Lucky you were the test subject.
I didn't realize this until like 10 years later. I went back to the school. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's so wonderful to see you. Oh my gosh. And as other students are seeing me with the teachers who were my teachers back then, they were asking, are you part of that class? We were legends. We were legends for the anarchy that we caused. The anarchy.
Oh my God.
And now they have their own building. They're in Queens, they're in Jersey, I think. Like now it's officially an all boys school, no mingling whatsoever. But I didn't realize our reputation was so chaotic, and
10 years later, it's still ringing through the hallways.
It's still ringing through the hallway. And even the teachers are like, I'm bald because of you guys. It's like, y'all were so ratchet. That's how they would talk to us and be like,
oh yeah,
gosh,
that's funny you mentioned 100 Black Men's Association, because I played for Tennessee State, and so we played in the BET Classic in Atlanta every year. And so I need to get a studio so I can hang stuff up. But I have a jersey from 4 jerseys from each year I played, but it was sponsored by the 100 Black Men's Association. And that was my first introduction to them, and the stuff they talked about, I was like, dude, I was a fan. I mean, that's the extent of my exposure. What they're trying to do, I was like, I could get down with that. I vibe with it.
I vibe with what they were trying to do. Just like the school, the execution was very all over the place, sloppy. Some people were paired up, and it was like my best friend Troy. We had the same mentor, 2 worldly different experiences.
Yeah.
2 worldly different experiences. I'm over here like, wait, our mentor took you out to the golf course? Mine isn't even calling me.
Yeah.
So all of that was an interesting time. And I was also so volatile, so violent. I was so aggressive. I had a lot of hate in me.
Okay.
I had a lot of just frustration from family. Things that were happening during high school years, and things that were happening right before high school years. And at that point in time, I was in my goth phase. I was in my rock phase. I was in my rebellious phase. I was just like, all right, if y'all got a problem, then let's go at it.
Brother.
And I didn't family.
Brother, I always find some sort of common ground. I did the same thing. I had my skater phase with the Jenko jeans and that whole thing. Had long hair. I'd grow my hair down and cover my face, just all that stuff. My daughter, I talked about this on a couple other shows, but my daughter's like, you're like a chameleon. Every few years, you're like, you change your whole vibe and appearance. I was like, hey, I don't know. This is what I do.
Keeping it fresh.
Yeah, keeping it fresh. All right. So you graduated, but did you go right into the military, or like, what was that transition period for you?
Oh yeah. So that
was that a plan for you?
That I went, let's see, I graduated, I want to say June.
Yeah.
I actually had to go to summer school. So I cut a lot of class.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was behind the curtains, we're in our line, we're about to go graduate, and the dean comes up to me and he says, you're not graduating.
He didn't let you walk either?
They let me walk.
Okay.
He just said, like, you're not graduating. All right. You're going to have to go to summer school. I was like, wow, all the way to the bitter end. I felt like I was getting screwed. I know it was my fault.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I was battling demons. One of the things I learned in life is that people don't teach you how to handle pain.
No.
And when it comes to that, you end up hurting other people and hurting yourself as you lash out in this pain. Right.
Yeah.
So I go to summer school. I officially graduate in August. My birthday is in September. But now at this point in time, again, I'm from the Bronx. My mom met a guy. This guy managed to convince my mom. Now, she was a smart woman. She was a single woman, hardworking, put herself through school, saved a wild amount of money, all this type of stuff, got a home. Well, because of this man who convinced her to sell her condo and move upstate. Now, look, that's like taking a fish out of water. We're from the Bronx. We're not from Poughkeepsie. So we go move there. I have no idea how to live. They're telling me to get a job. I never driven a car.
Yeah, that's a New York thing, bro. Yeah.
I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck in the woods across the street from a lake. And you're going to work and you're getting mad at me for not getting a job because I graduated. I'm lost and confused, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm making trips down to the Bronx. I have this girl that I'm with. I'm trying to figure out how to get a job. So I tell my dad, who's in construction, hey, can you help me out? I'm waiting on like 125th on Harlem at about 5 a.m. with a bunch of grown-ass men waiting to be put in a van to drive around Manhattan to look for construction jobs. And the way, when I look back on it, I'm like, how sketch is this? Especially me being an 18-year-old boy.
Yeah, bro.
We are lined up, and the foreman would come down. Nobody would say anything. We're just lined up. He'll look at us and just point who he wants. Everyone else get in the car, go to the next job site. That's how you got a job that day. And my mom's like, one day my birthday's coming up close, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean what I'm doing? I'm trying to get a job. I'm like, you are not helping me.
Yeah.
Y'all took me away from my environment, and I'm struggling out here, and I'm trying to figure it out. I was like, well, why do you ask? She says, well, her husband, he wants to change my room into his office. This is a couple days before my birthday.
Yeah.
We get into an argument.
Of course.
I'm like, fine, whatever. I come up. My whole room's already transformed into his office. I'm it was already transformed.
That's right, bro. That's right. So we were talking about your life was in boxes.
Yeah, my life was in boxes. I'm telling my homeboy, like, yo, am I bugging? This is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
One thing that my family struggled to do was show consideration.
Yes.
Multiple people struggled to show consideration. Forethought was a skill they didn't have. A lot of selfish people. And so I'm raising hell.
Yeah.
I'm raising hell because to talk calmly, they're not going to get it. So I'm like, then I'm out. Now, my mom has a habit. It's almost like a hobby of hers to kick her children out. She's kicked all 3 of us out. She's kicked us out at all different times. Like, oh, go live with your father. Or I don't care where you go, get out. For dumb reasons. But now I'm 18. I'm an adult, right? So it's like, okay, I get out. I go live with my girlfriend at the time. Now this is my birthday. This is September. Throughout middle school, me, Alexis, and Troy always said we were going to the Marines. But when we graduated, they really didn't want to. And I sort of fed off of that nervousness. And then all 3 of us, okay, maybe not. But there was one kid named Keyshawn who I just didn't expect to go. He didn't tell me he wanted to go. It was someone I was friends with throughout high school.
Yeah.
Well, as we're living together, me and my girlfriend, Enid, we move. We moved to Prospect in the Bronx, bad neighborhood. There was a gang called the Kelly Crew when they were teaching a kid. This kid was under 15 years old. They were teaching a kid how to rob someone. And unfortunately, it was my girl at the time.
Oh, jeez.
And they had a gun pointed at her. They had people surrounded her, and they were teaching him how to hustle on someone, right? I don't handle this well.
No.
I'm looking for them. I'm antagonizing them, and they're also finding me.
Yeah.
Now, my boy comes out of basic training. He's in uniform. We're all hyped up. I'm, oh, my God, tell me about it. He's telling me about basic. I've always been a runner, a fitness lover, so I'm getting hype off this. The more he tells me, the more I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going. I'm not going to wait. That is exactly what I want. And impulsively, I went to the Yankee Stadium recruiting station, the one he went to, and I was like, yo, I want to join. And I just started the process from there. That girl I dated, we ended up getting married and divorced in like 8 months, like a year. You know, we're 18, we're young.
Yeah.
But I had her move. Yeah, I had her move because I said, look, they threatened me. They were like, yo, if you keep looking for us, like, we're going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And of course, again, I was a hothead. So I'm like, then find me. I'll be waiting for you.
Yeah.
But then I got nervous that I'm leaving to the military now. they're the ones who's going to suffer for my actions. So they moved over to Corona Avenue in the Bronx, and I ended up leaving. And I left on December 31st, spent my New Year's in basic training, and that was everything.
And you joined the Army, correct?
Yeah, I joined the Army, infantry. I mean, I went all the way for myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of peaks and valleys as well.
So what was that transition like, talking about your you've just described your upbringing, a little chaotic, I would think, for most, maybe normal in your world, but that, to me, that's very chaotic. To now you're in, basic training, right? They don't play that shit, from my understanding. I never joined. I'm not a veteran. I'm not in the military, but from what I understand.
Well, I suffered. Nobody believed that I could survive in the military because of my attitude, because of my inability to accept authority. And that inability to accept authority, though, comes from the household. That comes from, like I told you, my dad, and excuse me if I go back and forth, because there was that background, right? Like I told you, my dad was I want to be your friend. I didn't need a friend. I needed a father. I needed a man to teach me. But the only thing he taught me was to prioritize sex over relationships from a young age. I mean,
Jesus.
At 10 years old, my birthday present was porn, cassette, right? I'm not cassette, VCR.
Yeah, no, I understand. Hey, I'm tracking.
So this is it, he's like, all right, boom, put it up in front.
All right.
At this point, I'm really realizing, putting these things together. I'm a kid, so I'm putting all the wrong stuff together. By like 11 years old, I'm smoking cigars with my dad because my dad always does it, and that's the best way that I could go anywhere with him.
Smoking cigars?
If I'm smoking cigars, because he's smoking cigars. So guess what? That means I get to go to the cigar shops. I just wanted to be around him in his ether. Yeah. He was jacked. I looked up to him. We worked out on the Bowflex when it first came out. But then at 12 years old, I'm over here losing my virginity. And then I'm going to my father like, yo, Dad, listen to this great thing. I did it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there goes that validation. And unfortunately, this vicious cycle of being unable to maintain a relationship. This went on for a long time of just, what's the phrase, having my cake and wanting to eat it too type of thing. Yeah.
That's, well, as a dad, that's fucking wild to hear you say that. I appreciate you sharing that. Because, again, it's out there. It is what it is, right? Okay, so I'm going to table that for a second. Because that's we might bring that back up. That you just threw that on me, bro. I was like, holy shit.
Sorry. I
don't
no. Over to the high school, and I'm like, oh, wait, you know what? There's a lot of crazy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and feel free to, interweave. All right, so you get through basic training, though. And now what? Were you married before you went, or it was still your girl she moved? So at some point you got married.
Yeah, so when I was in Afghanistan, when we went on R&R, that's when I came back to New York, and we got married at a courthouse.
Yeah.
And then she actually told me, after I had got blown up and I had called her, because that's where I ended up getting my Purple Heart, and I got my hands on a satellite phone. And that was the first thing I wanted to do. I wanted to call her to let her know, because I didn't want the military to call her.
Yeah.
But at this point that I'm calling her on a satellite phone, a previous conversation, approximately a month prior,
I
had called her, and just her tone of voice was different. It's just one of those moments where you're like, And I was like, hey, is everything all right? And she's like, well, I'm not in love with you anymore.
A month before this, dude?
Yeah, month before I'm blown up, right? And
Jesus.
She's like, I'm not in love with you anymore. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean you're like, you just woke up like that? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, was it something I did? Did I do something? This was the first girl that I was like being very.
Yeah, you were trying to be more than just,
so my heart was in this, and I was just like, so it's not me. There's nothing I can do. You're just out of love with me. All right. Are you sure? There's nothing I can do. No. So this is it. Yeah. I just wandered the base.
Yeah, you're overseas, dude, in a combat zone.
Overseas.
I'm assuming.
So I'm just walking at Fob Wolverine, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
This is what being utterly alone feels like. And there were a lot of variations or variables that were making that feeling happen. But so now I get blown up, I give her a call, and it's like somewhere like 3:00 in the morning for her.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to let you know that I just got an IED blast, but I'm all right, just in case anyone gives you a call and stuff. And she says, is that all?
What?
Yeah, that's all. It's like, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep. Boom.
Wow, bro.
And that was whatever remaining emotions I had left right there at that moment.
How long so hold on, I'm trying to keep pace. So you get in, how long were you in before you went to Afghanistan?
So I got in December 31st, January, February, March was basic training. Then April, May We were at base. June, we deployed.
Damn, bro. So, okay, because you're 18, right?
Yeah.
You
I'm
go through all
18.
this life change. You get married at a courthouse. You go to basic training. You're bouncing around. You're doing all these things. But from what I'm hearing from you, you're trying to. You're like trying to get your shit together. You know, this is your life. You're building your life. You marry this woman, and then in the course of that same amount of time because I'm assuming. So it was within the first year of marriage that she was like, "Yeah, I'm not in love with you anymore."
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
It's like the love phase, bro.
Yeah. Yes. And remember that girl I told you with that for my birthday I got kicked out? Like that was her.
Oh wow.
That was her. Like we were together in my senior year of high school.
Wow.
And so we had some time together, and she was a sweet, sweet girl.
Yeah.
Didn't really curse, very kind, showed kindness to me that I wasn't really accustomed to at that point.
Yeah.
So I was really drawn to it. Now, I actually spoke to her about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years ago for the first time. She reached out to me. She found me.
Oh, wow.
And we had a very nice conversation. She did give me some closure. I tried to think for her at that point in time, and maybe not think for her, but I tried to put the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah, yeah.
To help me understand. I was like, okay, you know what? She's 18. She was diagnosed with lupus. Her grandmother died. Her husband's in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know, the whole freak out with the Kelly gang happened. She moved. So that happened. What might a woman in that situation be feeling and thinking?
Yeah.
It seems like a very difficult thing to handle. And I had expressed that to her. I expressed that these were all the things. And she apologized to me. She apologized and said that, look, I was going through a lot and I didn't know how to handle everything. And so she needed to separate. And her mother played a role in that as well. But I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
We were young.
Yeah. Well, no, I guess I mean, after you articulate, I get it too, I guess, because here you are and now her significant other, her safety is gone, is in another country. And I'm assuming it wasn't daily check-ins or texting and FaceTime at that point.
Yeah.
God damn, bro. All right. So then you get the IED. Again, we don't have to dive too much into that, but you still stay in the Army.
Yeah, I loved
it. Did they give you the option to get out, or I don't know how it works. This is from ignorance. I don't know.
At that point in time?
Yeah.
Like with the IED and stuff?
Yeah.
No, my injury wasn't as bad as other people. Like,
oh, okay.
Like one of the other guys, it didn't look like he had any injuries. He was like wobbling and stuff like that, but spontaneously started bleeding profusely out of his legs. We found out that the amount of shrapnel that was in his legs was so bad that he needed to be sent to Germany, and then he had to relearn how to walk. So while at first glance it didn't look that bad, he was walking, boom, within like 45 minutes to an hour, it ended up turning disastrous. So an example like that, mine was my hand. I was still able to function. I was going to recover. So
see, and this is me exploring my own ignorance. It's like you just went through a traumatic, I would call that a traumatic fucking event, my opinion. And it's almost just like, hey, dust you off. Yeah, you're fine. Get back in the game kind of. I mean, I might be oversimplifying it.
100%. Look, and I won't go, all the way with this, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
All light and stuff. But look, my friend Miller, he died in that blast.
That's what I'm saying.
It is really like, look, okay, you're all good. Your hand's good, your leg's good, your face is good, your heart is good. Guess what? Put them in the casket, put the American flag over, get the C-17, let's go, put them on the plane, turn around, about face, get in the strikers. Next mission starts at 6 a.m.
Damn, bro. And you're 19? Or are you even 19 yet?
At that point in time, I'm 19. I'm 19, yeah.
Still, it doesn't matter, bro. That's wild to be dealing with that.
No. And, I mean,
I was playing football at that time, bro. Let me just phrase it that way. I'm not dealing with that shit.
Yeah. I get, 19. I mean, my brain is nowhere near fully developed. I'm still an emotional ball of chaos.
Yeah,
like I told you, I couldn't handle the authority. I got smoked so much, and I loved it. That was also part of the problem. It was just like people, the old school method, because it's not like that now, right? I can only make you do 20 push-ups. Back then, it was, you're going to do push-ups until I get tired.
Yeah.
And I loved that because I was going to make you tired. I was going to make you get bored of watching me do push-ups.
Yeah.
That was it. And
I got you.
I would challenge authority. I would, if they were wrong, nah, you're fucking wrong. What'd you say, Private? I said you're wrong. That's a dumb decision. Know your rank.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't do rank. I do respect, and you don't respect me, so I'm not going to respect you. And whether that was the right mindset or not, look, I built a strong reputation on getting the job done.
Yeah.
Physically, they relied on me to carry the representation of our unit when it
Got
came to racing other battalions, when it came to all these types of things.
Gotcha.
So it was a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, dude. I also understand that one as well. All right. Just how long were you in total? And then we'll go back a little bit.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah,
4 years.
From end of 2008 to February of 2012.
All right. So get the Purple Heart, that action, because I want to talk through, came back, and then you got into recon. But can you break down that story?
Yeah. So there was a guy named Amico, and we were in the same unit, and we were in Charlie Company. A few of my friends during service, recon lost some people, so they needed new ones. Some of my friends went over there. I wanted to be with them. I wanted to do what they were doing.
Yeah.
So when we came back, they were holding tryouts. It was like a 3-day tryout. But at the same time, LRS, Long Range Surveillance Team, which no longer exists, they were also doing tryouts. So I was like, ooh, which one do I go for? Amico was going for LRS. He was hyping me up about it. I was like, okay, I want to do it. Now, again, my reputation was, this is my theory. He sabotaged me because I do believe I would have made it. He ended up not making it. And if we both were there, I think it was between one or the two of us. I just had more mental grit.
Got it.
So he encouraged me, like, I'll do the paperwork for you. I'll do this. He wasn't doing shit. Doing shit. I was young, and I was just like, oh, you'll help me out? Naive in that sense.
Yeah.
And I learned that on Banner Day when all the battalions got together and the sergeant major was there, and the sergeant major needs to sign one of the documents. And he comes up to me at the last second, like you could tell by his face and everything and his tone of voice. He's like, oh, by the way, you need this signed by the battalion major, while he's with his wife and children. Not the time place. Not the time.
No.
What do? I go up to him. I go up to him.
Yeah, bro.
Ripped. I get ripped.
Of course you are. Yeah.
I took it. I didn't get signed. I got the opportunity, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to have to activate plan B, which was recon tryouts. Now, Janu Jacob is my best friend. We were called husband and wife in the service. We met in basic.
Yeah.
And we became closer when we were doing like a 12-mile ruck march, and he was at the very end. I didn't really know him at this time. But the thing was, if you fell out of formation and you fell into another battalion, goodbye. You're gone. We'll see you at the end, and you're going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
I ran to the back just to see who was back there. And no reason to do this. I don't even remember why. I just ran back there. I saw him struggling. I lifted up his rucksack, and I ran with him the rest of the way. And at that point in time, a relationship was built.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, we went through every piece of the military together, all the way up to being discharged on the same day.
That's wild, bro. That's not normal.
Together, been blown up together.
Damn.
Served on the missions. And then I tell him, I say, yo, can you please come to recon? He's like, no, bro, you're dragging me around to everything. No. I'm like, please, come on. I would love it if you come.
Just do it.
Just do it. I don't get an answer. I'm like, he's not coming. I'm going. It's morning time of recon. Last second, I see his car zooming on by, and he's over here in a panic, grabbing it. I'm just like, there you go, yeah. He does tryouts with me, and we both end up passing. And I get into sniper section, and he ends up getting into first squad. And that's where we end up finishing out the remainder of our time in service.
Damn, bro. So just for those of us that are ignorant, what is recon? What is it, what you did? And then what is the difference between the two that you just talked about?
Oh, yeah. So when you're just like in a regular company, great, you have like 30 guys still, but it's expanded by 4 companies. Okay. You'll most likely be working with them, and it's your job to know your job, period.
Yeah, fair enough.
When you are in recon, it is your job to know everybody's job. Because if you go down, I'm going to have to be able to just fill into that slot seamlessly. Okay. Recon goes ahead of everyone else.
Got it.
Recon is not going to rely on the rest of the companies, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. So we would get intel. We would clear out certain places beforehand. That was the main focus of recon. And there's bragging rights that come with it.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people didn't like it. I got a lot of hate. From people back in Charlie Company. Oh, you think you better now? I do.
Yes.
I didn't see you at tryouts. So I do. That was it, But that's what we did, and we got to do extra training. I really wanted to deploy with them again. So right around my discharge time, we were going for another deployment. And I love the military. I love the testosterone. I love the camaraderie. I loved feeling like I knew my shit.
Yeah.
But when I became a leader in sniper section, a couple things changed. We went from an infantry battalion major to a tanker battalion major. So a tanker knows not the same things as an infantry. So all of a sudden, the first thing he gets rid of is tryouts, which means anybody can join recon.
Got it.
We started getting a couple of trash bags.
Yeah.
I remember we went to Yakima Desert for a training, and I tell my team, clean the weapons. We're done with the training. I'm talking to my leader, and I have the M24 bolt action. And I'm just making sure my team did what they're supposed to do, and a bullet comes flying out.
Shit.
He just looks at me, and I'm just like, he's like, handle it. And I waited till like 1 a.m, waited till these dudes are sleeping. And mind you, I'm 20 at this point in time, and one of them is 40 years old. 40 years old. And I was just like, yo, y'all clean these weapons? Yeah, we can. Why y'all bullshitting me? A bullet wouldn't be in the chamber if you cleaned it.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, decision-making started to change. Do I trust it? Am I about to go on another deployment on a small team with people who are doing these types of things? And then one of my other guys ended up robbing gas stations. Him and a couple people put on Transformers masks and started robbing gas stations. Am I going to deploy with a guy like that? It was crazy. These young bucks were just going wild.
Oh, bro, I thought you were going to tell me it was the 40-year-old robbing gas station at Transformer Mask. That'd be hilarious.
No, the 40-year-old one day, I was naive in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But the 40-year-old.
You're 20, dude.
I'm 20.
Yeah.
He's addicted to Coke.
Oh.
I've never even seen Coke. So he ends up meeting us somewhere completely smashed out of his mind.
Yeah.
I like to describe him as it's basically someone who's running at 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And that's another guy on my team. So it's like, God damn.
Yeah.
You have all these different people involved in this, and it's just like, no. The answer is no. Oh, we're going to offer you $20,000 more this time if you come to deployment. They're really sweetening the pot.
Oh, yeah.
At this point, I got the chaplain having conversations with me, trying to convince me to stay in. I got my immediate leader, the staff sergeant, taking me out to lunch. My ego is being inflated big time with people telling me, we need you. We want you. And I'm loving it. I'm eating it. And then I immediately think of my team and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Now, that doesn't justify that. Because if I die, I don't have that money. If I die, all of that was worth it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Damn. There is something a little, I'm going to say it to you, right? A little crazy, bro. You got blown up. You're doing all these things. You're like, yo, I want to go back. You just loved it.
There's something about the aggression, even just the simple concept of, I know there's people out there looking for me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for them too.
Damn. So what's the difference between recon and the long recon? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, the long range surveillance team?
Yeah. What's that? What is that?
Yeah. So to be honest, I didn't know too much because I didn't get in. So I didn't really learn a lot about them.
Yeah.
So couldn't tell you. And they're extinct now. They don't exist anymore. Yeah,
it's so interesting. We had a Sergeant Major Dave Devaney from the Marine Corps. He was a recon sniper, which doesn't exist anymore for them either. They're getting rid of all these recon teams for some reason. So it's interesting to hear that's happening it has already happened in the Army as well. All right. So you do 4 years, you get out, you're 22?
21.
21? Okay. Oh, so you got a little early.
Yeah.
What do you do then? Like what leads you to what you're doing now? I do want to talk about what you're doing now, but the process is, you're throwing out these little stories.
I'll be honest, Tyler. I was lost, man. I mean, so first off, I traveled across America.
Okay.
Me and my homeboy Jacob, we just got in his little Mazda, packed that up to the brim, and we just casually went across America back to Philadelphia and New York. And just a little fun spot on that. The staff sergeant that was in charge of us, this was the most arrogant, annoying that I had met so far in the military. I mean, he used to tell us that he could see ultraviolet. He used to tell us that he could curve bullets. And no matter how much I would demolish everyone in the battalion, like running, I think my fastest 2 mile was like 11:21. Like I was on it, and he used to champion, I'll beat you. I said, bro, you're past 40. Stop your mouth. You know? So I stole his chair. I stole his chair because he used to yell at anybody, no matter of rank, who got in that chair. He was an arrogant, nasty guy. So I stole his chair and I dumped it in a dumpster in Las Vegas. Okay. But before then, I took pictures with it with strangers in different areas. I mean, I got the Golden Gate Bridge. I got somebody sitting in it, and I would send it back to my boys over in Seattle. He would print the photos out. That was like my little revenge, like sort of FU type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just got lost. We just got lost casually when I started smoking weed at that point in time. And
had you ever done it before?
You know what? I actually asked my boy, I couldn't remember, I asked my boy Troy, I was like, yo, did we smoke in high school? He was like, yeah. but you never really got into it. I was like, yeah, you guys did. And I didn't really stick with me.
Yeah.
But it stuck with me after the military.
Yeah.
I've processed zero at this era of my life. Zero.
Yeah.
Didn't even know there was something to process.
Yeah. You're just going through it.
I'm just going through it and not giving a hoot about anything. Yeah.
Well, I'm fascinated that you weren't into sports for whatever. I think you kind of touched it and explained why, and I do understand, because one thing, again, you and your wife, you guys, from what I see on social media and just having talked to her, now you guys really are into fitness. And just quick shout out, I don't know if it was from you or her own, but the fact that she actually like lifts weights and stuff, that's not, a lot of females don't do that. Buddy, that's so important. I'm like, I don't even know if we talked about it when I recorded with her, but I was like, that's very impressive. I was trying not to make it weird, but I'm like, a lot of females don't do that. And then
they're scared of it. They're intimidated.
Yeah, but it's so important, right?
So important. When I met her, she just ran.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most
she didn't know the principles of lifting.
Yeah.
And at that point, we'll catch up to that. Yeah. Because this goes along with being lost.
How long does this last before you start? I guess, what did you do next, I guess?
Yeah. So I became a personal trainer. So we made it back to New York. I'm staying at my sister's house, sleeping on her couch, just sort of like overwhelmed by the freedom.
Yeah.
Because in the military, yes, you have freedom, but it's very limited. Like you have to go back to base on a contract. Now the world is an option, and I am overwhelmed. People are telling me, yo, you should become a security guard. Go figure. That's everyone's answer. Yeah. But I go for it. I take the trainings. I go for a security guard. I last 2 weeks at Saks Fifth Avenue. Yeah. I'm like, not for me. I'm good. So I'm working out at Powerhouse in the Bronx. Gringy type of gym. I'm talking about water bugs would occasionally come out the wall. I'm smelling the rust. Like, this is my life. I'm loving it. I'm shredded at this point in time. I loved working out. I love the pain that comes with working out. Just something about it. And I start getting into bodybuilding, and a guy notices me. My name Keith. I think Keith Rock. Yeah. He's like, yo, your back is crazy. You ever thought about doing bodybuilding? And I'm like, nah. So I just love it. And he's like, you have such great form, whatever. He starts coaching me just to be there, hanging out with me. And the fact that somebody was even interested in talking fitness with me in this capacity. Everyone comes to me for advice at that point. This isn't somebody who's asking for advice. He's giving it.
Yeah.
And I'm loving this mentor-like relationship. Yeah. And he's like, yo, there's no personal trainers here. I'm going to become one. Why don't you do too? We could be the first. I'm like, I'm down for that. Yeah. So I start to get into personal training from there. Now, I struggled with education, with feeling smart, with being smart. Like I told you, I got told on graduation day, you're not graduating.
Yeah, no, yeah.
A lot of people in my life told me you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And that was a reaffirming statement I would say to myself. You're the piece of shit everybody thought you were going to be. You're right on track. I failed the PT test. And I'm like, how could I fail at something I love? You're dumb.
You mean the written test?
I failed multiple choice to get certified. Yeah.
Wait, to be a trainer?
To be a trainer. I failed the personal training test the first time. And now that's just like a blow to my soul, because I'm like, this is my life.
Yeah, this is what I do.
This is what I do. How could I fail at what I do?
Yeah.
But he encouraged me. And I tried and I passed. And that was the beginning. And before, it was a couple months. It was like 3 months before that time where I just smoked a shit ton of weed. I just played handball, played video games with friends, didn't really do anything, didn't know what to do, wasn't really interested in trying to figure things out, and constantly getting different criticisms from family. Again, my sister created a little ad for me to try to get some clients, and it helped. Yeah. I asked my oldest sister, Tara, for some help. I was like, I need to kick this up a notch. Like, me doing it at this gringy gym ain't going to make it.
Yeah.
She ended up finding a job opportunity at Equinox on 63rd and Lexington.
I know what that is.
And I got hired. Yeah. I got hired, and that was another insane.
Well, let's pause right there, because I am interested in this, just for my own edification.
Yeah.
Prior to the testing, had you had any formal training, or was it just you yourself learning how to work out? Was it something in the military? How did you get to the quality that you were doing?
So I always did calisthenics. So I had a lot of mind to body connection. I knew how to use my body. I knew breathing, all that type of stuff.
This was on your own.
This was on my own. Yeah. I didn't learn it through books or anything. I learned it just through doing.
Yeah.
So because of that, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was special. In Afghanistan, I started to lift weights seriously. It was a way to occupy time. I was reading every magazine I could get my hand on. So now I started learning through these magazines what these anabolic, what is hypertrophy, what are great rep ranges. And then when I came back from Afghanistan, I lived in the gym. I lived in the gym. I lived in the magazines. I experimented with the magazines. Whatever routines they said, I went out to the gym and I tested it for myself.
Yeah.
And that was it. The military era was, if you don't know where Travis is, he's in the gym. That was this. I studied it. I started to learn about nutrition. I started to play around with food and figuring out what was making me, I say the words now, I wasn't thinking it back then, but what's going to make me more powerful?
Yeah.
And that was it. And people were confused by my growth. People were like, yo, how are you getting bigger, but you're still running fast? And in my head, I'm like, bro, my legs get bigger. Don't you think that means I have more muscle? If I have more muscle, ain't I going to run faster? Like, why is this so hard for you to understand?
Don't you think it's interesting because you struggled in school. There's a lot of reasons behind that. But when you found something you were passionate about, think about, I don't know, I'm sure you already have, you're like spending more time researching, studying, experiment, like all the science school terms, but you're just, for you, it's just like, no, this is just my own personal, it's almost like a hobby. But then you were able to turn that passion into an actual career, whatever you want to phrase it.
Oh, yeah. In reality, it comes full circle like this. It was a hobby that turned into an obsession that turned back into a hobby, because that's what it is today. Yeah.
Okay. And last one, and then we'll tie into Equinox, because I know what an Equinox is. I've always worked out in the grungy gyms. That's where I feel okay. Like you have headphones, nobody bothers you. I will say it's become more popular now than it was back in the day, but usually there's nobody recording and all this other shit that goes on. I still hate that to this day, by the way. I just leave me alone. I don't want to be in the backdrop of your video, but like that is just like, that is high school for me. That's college for me. Like it just rusty weights. You're getting rust all over you don't need chalk because you got rust on your hands.
You don't even know what the weight is. Sometimes it's just like a slab of steel that is clearly welded onto a handle. I mean,
it feels heavy.
It feels heavy. Exactly. On our leg press back at Powerhouse, the stopper was a series of nuts and bolts welded together that you would slam into the hole.
Dude, but I love it. I don't know. I still have, there's not many of those around, or at least the ones I work at now. It's that vibe anyway. Like nobody's talking to you. It's just like, leave me alone. Let me do my thing. So anyway, well, one, what do you prefer now that you've Equinox style and then grungy?
Grungy, 1,000,000%. That's my DNA. Yeah, that's my DNA. I want to work out in a place that the AC is broken and you struggle to breathe in my environment, just standing there. Like, that's what I love.
It's hot in the summer and it's cold in the winter.
Cold in the fucking winter. You gotta
wear gloves.
Brick.
Yeah, bro.
Brick. And those types of gym had equipment that you're not going to, like, vertical leg press.
Yeah.
I miss that machine so much. And
too dangerous.
Dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, I was working out when they still had the neck, whatever it was.
Yes,
with the weights.
Yeah. Where you
did all those things.
Machine, hold the handles, and you put it sideways. Yep.
I still laugh every now and again. I'll see one. I'm like, oh my god, they still have those. All right, so you go from grungy gym to Equinox. Can you please? And again, I have to do a preamble. It's a podcast. Yeah. Anyone who works out, I'm not knocking anything, and whatever's your comfort zone, all the preamble that goes with it. But can you explain what an Equinox is, and then transition to your life there while you work there?
Yeah, Equinox is Equinox, man. All right, so Equinox is, I'll say it's up here. It's at the top. It's a league of its own, and a lot of people want to be Equinox. You got places like, I mean, they may not like it if they ever hear it. I doubt they'll hear it, but like the Knack.
Yeah.
You got other athletic clubs, things like that. You got Lifetime. Like Lifetime would love to be Equinox, but they just don't know how to be creative. The thing about Equinox is no location is the same.
Yeah.
They blend with their environment. That right there creates this unique enthusiasm to anyone who's living in that environment. But also it's a status symbol. If you got a membership at Equinox, yeah, you feel some type of way. If you're an Equinox if you're a trainer at Equinox, you feel some type of way. You're right. It is really expensive. I remember when I first started working there, the membership was like $189. Right now, a month. I think right now it's like $300 and something. When my wife stopped working there, it was in the high 200s.
Yeah, it makes my pockets hurt.
Oh my God.
For a gym, bro.
I used that facility to the max.
Yeah.
I would go into the sauna until I couldn't take it anymore and jump into the cold plunge and
Yeah.
then jump back into the sauna. I used the amenities. I didn't waste that time. But I also say that by saying I didn't waste that time, and I used it destructively as well. It was a culture shock.
Yeah. That's what I was going to get to. The clientele is probably a little different than the
Oh
grunge gym.
my God.
Yeah.
I am a Bronx street boy. Worked on my accent so much because it was street, it was slang. And to be around these people who are
They don't like
rich,
that.
millionaires, the homes I've been in, for my birthday, one of my friends is her client, but also her personal friend. I'm in a jacuzzi for my birthday on a penthouse floor in Times Square, looking over the glass over at the Coca-Cola.
Yeah. That's wild, bro.
I'll never live there. That's not mine. But I got to live vicariously through these people.
Yeah.
But I got to live vicariously through these people because I provided a service.
Yeah.
Even though I may have been a shitbag in my life, in many respects, when it was game on to give you what you paid for, I was working on it, but I was serious about it.
Yeah.
So I gave my best to people, and I met a lot of wonderful people, met a lot of weird people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you find I guess that's you're tapping into something I have tried to articulate and express, because I grew up in a trailer park. I was a trailer park kid running around. That was me. And through my career, my jobs and stuff, I would find myself in places that I couldn't even imagine to even think about as a kid. And you realize very quickly we're all just people. I will second you meet a lot of weird fucking people. That's very true. But it's always refreshing when you meet a world leader or a very wealthy individual, and they're just normal human beings that, through whatever hard work, whatever it is, but they don't make you feel less than. That was something, I guess.
Yeah.
The little trailer park kid in me always kind of, anytime I walk in somewhere and I'm like, I don't belong here, I'm that shell, like, oh man, I'm going to be exposed that I don't belong here, kind of a thing. But you find that a lot of people don't treat you that way. So anyway, I'm glad to hear that was kind of the case for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And to that point too, people want to connect. I mean, I saw people there who were desperate to connect, who you would see them constantly scanning, looking for just someone to make eye contact. Yeah. And the moment they did, they come right up to you and they start talking. And not all of them would talk about themselves. I mean, I've had some of them. I had this older guy. I hope he's still alive, but almost every day he would invite me to have like tea and coffee in his apartment right down the block over on 3rd Avenue. And it was just a chit chat. And here I am at this point, a 22-year-old man talking with a 75-year-old man. And he's even asking me advice. We're just chit chatting. You can't escape the desire for human connection. It doesn't matter what hierarchy you're in.
No, for sure. So how long were you at Equinox?
Yeah, I was at Equinox for maybe 2.5 years until I spontaneously quit around 11:30 at night, sending an email to my manager that I won't be coming back in. Remember, I told you, 10 years old, I'm being introduced to porn. I had no emotional regulation, no idea that there was even something to regulate. Changing to be a better person, honestly, the thoughts were there, but they were like this small.
Yeah. Yeah.
You chose the very selfish route, caused some pain, get out. It wasn't even something to consider. That's immediately where my mind went to. But that was actually the beginning of a big life change.
So yeah, I kind of want to, and help me walk through this because I don't want to jump ahead too much. Definitely don't want to miss out. Every point of your life, you got these stories, bro. But because we talked before, but the transition you talked through, you've gone through therapy. We're going to touch on the MDMA thing.
Oh yes,
I want to touch on all that and then get into what you're doing now. But what was the span of time, I guess, from maybe that point to where you are now, and what was that process like for you, dealing with all these things that I'm assuming you're 22, 20.
I really didn't start to change until the age of 24 and a half, 25 and a half. Yeah. I made a deal with myself around that time, and I said, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you, Travis. You have left me nothing but messes to clean up.
Yeah.
You owe me 22 years of dedicated work. I'm only 35. I'm still paying on that contract.
Yeah.
And I'm committed. I love it. I don't clean up messes anymore. I'm grateful for what I leave behind.
Yeah.
But let's see. So I leave Equinox.
Yeah.
I end up getting a new job. Now, my full name is Abraham Travis Lyons.
Okay.
Everybody call me Travis, and I would love Travis because Travis to me was a sexy name. It It involved everything that I thought I was.
Yeah.
I would not use Abraham because anything that I could conceive as a man who was named Abraham was not me. So when I started this new job in Queens called Life, Health, and Fitness, I decided that I was going to go by Abraham and tap in to that guy.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought it. I didn't read it anywhere. I didn't hear it anywhere. I just knew that I was sick of what Travis was doing.
Yeah.
And it's insane how the change was immediate. The moment I told people that my name was Abraham, they just looked at me different.
Yeah.
The way they just they didn't treat me like a Travis. They treated me like an Abraham.
Okay.
And I started to work on my slang. I started to pronounce my words a little bit stronger, a little more clearer over at Life, Health, and Fitness. And I started to go to college.
Damn, bro. Okay.
But I got kicked out. I got kicked out of college, right? I tried, but I didn't try good enough.
Okay.
So that's a whole separate area. So I'm going through this time, and I end up coming across a book, a very classic book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
And at this point in time, I read the book first, almost like I think one of the first 3 books I've ever read in full. And I thought this book was going to be about money until the very end when it tells you that the book never mentioned money except for the one time that it just did, to let you know that it never mentioned money.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a crack in my perception where I started to realize that wealth isn't about money. Wealth is about your mindset and about your perception. That riches come from how you treat the world and everything. And so that was starting to happen, right?
Okay.
I ended up developing my first group fitness class. I started off with 2 people. I ended up getting so many people, over like 40 people, that they were going into the streets of Queens. It was a whole life changer. And here's Catherine in the background supporting me, creating ads for my group fitness, taking photos, giving me ideas, and I'm really working it. And one day it all comes to an end. I go into work and I don't expect to lose my job. Well, I quit that day. I quit for integrity reasons.
Yeah.
They got a new manager. They wanted to change the whole system in play. And I said, look, I'm your second best trainer here. You guys can't do this to me. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The number 1 trainer was in the room too. And he cursed at them, flipped out. And I wanted to act just like him. And I said, Abraham, that's how Travis would act.
Yeah, yeah.
You are going to hold poise here. You're going to be very clear. And I asked the managers in the group setting, I said, are you going to lie to me and the rest of us? You know what we spoke about.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, we never spoke about anything. I said, well, then I'm sorry. I quit.
Yeah, I'm out.
And I walked around Queens for, 3 hours. Just like, wow, really? Everything I built?
Yeah.
I finally did something. I finally felt worthy, valuable. And it was all gone. And the next year and a half, I lived in Florida in one of the greatest hiatuses that probably set the stage for the rest of my life.
What happened there?
I left. My mom was down there, and it was just me. See, isolation is a gift if a man will use it wisely.
Okay.
And I was isolated because I didn't want to be a burden to Catherine. I needed to figure something out. So I left and I drove down to Florida with my cat, and I lived with my mom, and I had no job, nothing to do. And unfortunately, there were some challenges there. My mom's a tough cookie. Instead of letting me sleep on her couch, she gave me the floor. I slept on the floor. Yeah. My room was the coat closet.
Yeah.
And I watched this YouTube commercial of this obnoxious guy. And I'm seeing in the background of the commercial this wonderful library. And I have this epiphany. You are dumb. You're dumb. The issue is that you don't know enough, but I can learn by reading books. I call my wife. I tell Kat, I say, oh my God, Kat, I got the answer. I know what to do. I just got to read. But I'm broke. I can't go to Barnes & Noble and buy any books. And she says, why don't you go to the library? My mind opens. That's how confident I was. I skipped the library and went to Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I used to sit under a tree and draw. I love drawing. I go to this library about 2 miles away, and they turn me down. They say, oh, you're out of the zip code. We can't give you a library card. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
So I'm just 2 miles down the road. She says, yeah, but it's a different zip code. So I find another library. This library is about 100 feet from the tree that I've been drawing at for months in Florida. And I'm like, I've been sitting next to this gold mine this whole time and never even knew it. So I walk in there, walk up to the lady, and I said, hey, where's your section on how to be wealthy? And I see that she smirks and like little laughs, and she's like, it's over there. I go over there, I grab the whole thing, come back to her. I want all these books. I've read every single one of those books, over 12 books, and I extracted all the knowledge and I put it in a notebook. And I went from learning how to eat at the dinner table, from learning business to learning how to talk, to learning how to consider other people, to learning how to communicate, what is emotional intelligence, all these things. And I went from working at Disney as a construction worker to quitting and creating my own little personal training business in Florida. And I went back to school. I got kicked out with a 0.8 GPA at the Borough of Manhattan Community College. I went to Valencia College and bumped that GPA up to like 1.7, used my GI Bill, and I left. I went to New York because I wanted more money. I went to New York, and I'm speeding through this, right? I want to be mindful of our time and tracking.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm tracking.
Details. I go to Westchester Community College, and I meet a woman who actually supports me as a veteran and educated me on veteran policies and veteran stuff. I ended up getting my GPA up to 4.0.
Damn.
I didn't even know this was a thing. Student of the semester. They ended up giving me my own parking spot. They brought me in to speak to other students. I ended up becoming an advocate for veterans, a population that I would naturally stay away from out of different variations of imposter syndrome and guilt. And after that, I ended up going to college at Concordia. And me and this woman named Viviana, we ended up creating the Veterans of Concordia. She made me the president of that, and we built a wonderful program that helped a lot of veterans, and she actually works at the VA now. She's climbed up her ladder. So the growth train and all the minute details that went into it, I admit they're nuanced, and the stories are pretty intense when I think about it.
Yeah, dude.
But I was just paying myself back for all the shit that I've done.
So what I'm gathering, can I be respectful of your time as well, sir? Because you're an outpatient counselor, you teach a DUI class, you're still a personal trainer, I guess, more hobby side. I still want to talk about the MDMA therapy, but it's interesting to hear you talk only until the last maybe 5-6 minutes that you're a creative and you have a creative mind, and the drawing and the wanting to go. Basically, you weren't looking for someone else to help you, right?
Oh, no.
You saw a YouTube an ad, and in the background, you're like, oh, books. Yeah, they have knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's more of an internal thing for you.
Yeah.
And I'm always very impressed with people who can find a niche for themselves, meaning like they create their own business to sustain their lifestyle. It sounds so easy. It's fucking hard in the process of doing this for myself, right? It's very hard, and it's a lot of work. But those moments, it sounds. I think you had that in your childhood, but you didn't have an outlet. Maybe again, we're trying to not dig into all the details of all that. But so you go back up to New York, and let's just go right into, you're an outpatient counselor, the DUI class, stuff like that. How do you balance those things, and what are those things?
Yeah, so keeping it super short, my last semester, COVID happened. So I left New York to come to Bensalem.
Damn, yeah.
And I was actually I'm proud to say that I was the last graduating class at Concordia, because that school closed down. I was also the commencement speaker.
Okay.
And so now I'm here in Bensalem. I graduated. What comes next, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm at a red light. So I look to my right, and I'm like, what is that? Livingren. Never heard of that. You know what? I'm going to go home, and I'm going to Google this.
Yeah.
So I Google Livingren. I say, oh, look at that. They're a substance abuse facility. I just graduated. All right, let me see if they got an About Me message section. I messaged them, let them know I just graduated, sent them my resume, asked them if they're hiring. Within 2 weeks, I had got the job.
Damn. Yeah. Did you know anything about that? Anything? Okay. So you learn as you go. Is this something you figure you would try out, or?
Yeah, something I figured I'd try out. I just got a degree. I've never been afraid of trying something. And now, in my life today, I don't care what it is, I'll learn it, because I know I've already proven to myself that I'm really not that dumb.
No, bro. No, you're touching on, yeah, dude, you're touching on stuff I've talked about in a few episodes, so I won't bring it up again. But it's just the ability, and then also recognizing how to educate yourself. Or some people have, like you said, your upbringing, your family, the dysfunction. Like, that's very difficult, especially in those age groups. So the fact that you can recognize that now is huge, bro. How long have you been doing the outpatient counseling?
So I've been actually doing it we're in November now, just about 6 months.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's
gotta be rough.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It can be really frustrating. Yeah. I think the biggest frustration I'll back up just a little bit. So I find a job, they hire me. I'm just a regular substance abuse counselor, but they do have a first responders program. I want to be that, but for some reason they don't want me to be it. I'm like, guys, I'm a vet. Like, let me do it. Whatever. Fast forwarding, my reputation is building. I'm great at giving lectures. It got to the point that my coworkers were joking around saying, like, are you running a cult? Like when you're off, your patients refuse to speak to anybody except you. I'm like, no. But what I think it is I really relate to these people on a human level.
Yeah.
And although I don't suffer or struggle with addiction, I know what pain is.
Yeah.
I know what suffering is. And no matter the realm of it, we can all relate to that. And that's substance abuse is a symptom of deeper pain. And so an opportunity comes for me to be the first responders addiction treatment special counselor. At this point in time, they need someone to clean it up because there's a lot of chaos going on.
Yeah.
I say I'm your man. Without bitching or whining, I take the highest caseload. I'm over here running 3-hour groups every day, working with police, fire, EMT, nurse. I'm doing lectures every day, running small group. I mean, I barely have a chance to breathe, but I'm loving it.
Yeah.
What I'm most loving is cleaning up someone else's mess because that's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no more. There's no need for any additional proof. I feel like I already had a great reputation, but now let me put it in a different type of action. So I do that for a while. I was there as a residential counselor for over 3 years. I don't want to say I was getting burnt out, but I recognized where I was going.
Yeah.
And I was getting annoyed. I was getting tired of putting up such fantastic value because for me, I was doing my best. I was at optimal performance.
Yeah.
For people who struggle, but also didn't want it.
Yeah.
And I started to grow a resentment towards that,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I love helping people. If you look at my resume, the only types of jobs I've ever had were service-oriented.
Yeah.
I served in the military. I served as a personal trainer. I served as a substance abuse counselor. All I do is help people.
Yeah.
I love it. But I really don't like helping people who don't want help.
Yeah, that's rough.
You know? And so I was like, oh, you know what? An opportunity at a courthouse opened up. So I was like, I'm giving my 2 weeks. I'm a bounce. So I go to this courthouse. I work there for 90 days. HR comes up to me for a 90-day evaluation. I give them an honest review. What happens? The political supervisor in there ends up retaliating against me, pulls me into the office, starts disrespecting me, using my military experience against me. Oh, you know what chain of command is? You disrespected me. They got caught with their foot in their mouth. They got caught not knowing that HR does 90-day evaluations.
Yeah.
I spoke up. I did all this stuff. You know what? I don't need to tolerate this shit.
No.
So I quit. Y'all don't deserve the courtesy of a 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
I quit. So I'm still teaching actually group fitness classes at Living Grin.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, a random opportunity comes up for outpatient. So I take it. I'm doing outpatient now for 6 months. It's just I don't want to say it's a thankless job. You know, some patients, they're really grateful and you can feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the bad outweighs the good.
I understand.
So
I understand.
I wish it's hard to see people, especially when you grow rapport with them. It's hard to keep seeing them fail. It's hard to keep seeing them trapped in them, especially when you know what it was like at one point in time to be trapped.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, my motto is the biggest sin of the desert is to know where the water is and not tell your neighbor. I'm just trying to tell you where the water is. Why are you fighting me? Just go check it out.
Just try it, bro.
Just check it out.
Yeah.
Damn.
So not to add to more, but you also teach a DUI class? Is
Yes.
this part of the same thing, or is this something else you just added to your
Something else I added to my repertoire that just sort of happened by chance. So Living Grin holds the contract for the lower Bucks. And again, my reputation for like public speaking, for giving lectures and stuff, everyone knows about it. So it just sort of came up to me. Hey, you're interested in this? Yeah, sure. Will you pay me? Yeah,
sure.
All right, do it. So I ended up taking the courses, and now I have my own class on the first weekend of every month where I just teach DUI. You know, if you get a DUI, you'll have to take the alcohol highway safety course. I'm going to teach you about the law. I'm going to teach you about what the law says about substances. I'm going to teach you about how alcohol and all these things affect your body. I'm going to make it interactive. I'm not going to just talk at you. I'm going to talk with you, and I'm going to ask for feedback. So it is fun. I do like that. I probably like that more than I like the other stuff.
Well, fair enough. And I don't know where this fits in the story, but you said that you were cool with talking about it. And this, again, this is for my edification. Yes. You said you tried the MDMA therapy. Can you explain what it is and how you came up? Is it a VA thing, or like how it came to be that you tried it?
Yeah. So look, I have been working with a therapist, we're in 2025 now, 6 years now. She is wonderful. She has helped me recognize, she's helped me articulate, she's helped me see things. And it took me about 7 years to finally see someone. And I did. I reached out. I sought out help. And because we were already working together for so long, when I was in the frat department at Living Grin, I just finished cognitive processing therapy with my counselor. I've struggled with survivor's guilt, moral injury, PTSD, all these different types of elements. And it's not easy. It's like, just because you work through something, it doesn't erase it. One thing I learned about therapy is like, just because you're good at coping, the fact is that you're still coping. So something's wrong.
Yeah.
And so that was an eye opener. But she suggested it. She said, hey, the VA is doing a study right now.
Yeah.
It's an MDMA study for military vets with PTSD. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, I would be interested. So it was 3 sessions of MDMA for 8 hours each. I had to go up to New York, and there was a lot. I mean, they took all my blood, all of it. And it was a lot of dedication. Now, I got lucky because my therapist was she was part of the team who was running the program, so I got to be with her. But then it was another therapist there who I worked with, who she also got to be there. So you lay down in the bed, you have the therapist on each side of the bed, and they're with you for the whole time.
Yeah.
They're there. So music is a power player in this. They control the music. You can make suggestions, but they control the music.
Yeah.
And they put a blindfold on you if you're comfortable enough. Basically, you're shutting off that sensory system so you can really dive deep.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Tyler, that was mind-blowing. I remember, so I used AI immediately to recreate the images I saw in there.
Yeah.
But it was like a television. I remember when the song played, it was like tribal music, just like doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
And if you could imagine for a moment, like a bunch of tribal people in a jungle, and they got one stick on my shoulder and one stick on your shoulder, and there's a hog hanging upside down.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing. They were walking towards an Aztec temple, and I'm the hog. I'm tied up. Yeah, I'm tied up and I'm hanging there. But I'm vibing with it because I'm like, yes, we are going to sacrifice the old me. That guy has been screwing me over, making my life hard for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of him. Yes, okay, I'm down for this. Tribe is walking. We go up the stairs. We get to the top. And right before we're about to put him in the fire, somehow, someone yells out, stop. We got the wrong person. This is all wrong. I'm like, what? What do you mean we got the wrong person?
Yeah. This is all in your head.
This is all in my head. This is all a visual. I'm seeing this like literally like a television, like a movie. And at the same time, I got hit with an epiphany. All you do is sacrifice yourself for others.
Yeah.
We're done with the sacrificing. You don't need to sacrifice your old self to make room for your new self. You have been here this whole time. The music transitions, and all of a sudden I'm in a hole looking up, and I can see the sky. I'm climbing up out of the hole, and a silhouette appears over and reaches in. And I look up, and I reach for the hand, and when the sun touches their face, it's me pulling myself out of the hole. And I realize at that moment, a second epiphany. I have always had my back through my entire life.
Yeah.
That I really haven't been alone. And all that retaliation that I've done in my youth and everything, I was fighting against, whether if it was right or wrong, right, real or perceived, I was trying to protect myself in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And when the music changed one more time, it was like millions of people were all celebrating at the fact that I had finally got it. I understood that we are done with being a people pleaser to the point that you are sacrificing yourself, your beliefs, all this type of stuff. Maybe in a better phrase, going with the crowd.
Yeah.
And I remember I took off the blindfolds and I tell the therapist what just happened. Like, whoa. This is insane. I collected the first part of me at that point in time, which went on to be a series of events of me collecting parts of myself that I had fractured or lost.
Was it multiple sessions of this?
Yeah, it was 3 sessions.
Damn.
It was a randomized study, and I ended up getting in the trial, not the trial, in the study of 3.
Study of 3, okay.
3 separate times.
Damn, bro. See, I'm fascinated by this stuff because, again, we talked again before, offline a little bit, but like, the only time I hear about these things or hear it expounded upon is like Rogan or some of these other podcast shows. And it's usually from a professor or something like that. Very rarely do I get to talk to somebody who's like, no, I actually did it. And this was my experience.
So after the MDA, I mean, I dove into it. I wanted to understand how was this possible.
Yeah.
And one of the things I learned is that what MDMA does, I mean, you'll find it in ecstasy and Molly and that type of stuff. No, this is pure MDMA, not diluted, not interrupted by, not creating basically an antagonistic or synergistic effect by any other types of things, right? This is just MDMA. And that lowers your amygdala's ability to judge. You can't judge yourself in the same capacity.
Yeah.
So you have this warmth towards yourself that enables you to go beyond. And that's the problem with people, all of us. Judgment is a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
We also use it against ourselves. If we could just stop it, you'll see beyond.
Damn, bro. I'm going to have you back on. Can we talk about APOS?
APOS?
And I know you haven't done it yet, but this is kind of one of the things when you eventually do, I would love to talk through that. But again, I've already had my knee replacement, so I'm like, son of a bitch. I keep here learning about new things, but do you mind touching on it?
Yeah, not a problem. And you can have me on your show as many times as you want.
I appreciate it.
I get it. There's so much to talk about, and there's different segments we could go on.
Yeah, I have a lot of notes that I'm just leaving alone right now, but I'm like, I'm having to collect my thoughts.
There's a whole world we didn't even talk about.
Yeah, I know.
That's fine. But when it comes to APOS, they're a health company. They've been around, I think, since the 90s. And they've been having a lot of different treatments. But they created this shoe, this APOS shoe, which has these two orbs in the bottom that a trained person would end up adjusting for you.
Yeah.
You would use it for about 45 minutes to an hour a day. And what these orbs do is they adjust your gait, the way you walk. And so if you have knee, hip, or back pain, your body does one thing great. It adapts.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if you got, let's just say, a left knee that's really bad, guess what? Your body's going to compensate on the right leg. That's going to cause further imbalances. And so the shoe helps retrain your muscles to prevent those imbalances from adapting, and or if it's at that point already, it's going to help strengthen those muscles to get you back. The goal would be to, at least, bare minimum, the goal would be to reduce the expectation of surgery by 6 months. So if if you're expected to go get knee surgery or hip surgery or something, before you get to that point, like, allow APOS to be one of the steps in between that sort of prolong that, right? It's non-invasive surgery. It's just a shoe that you would wear. You could wear it around doing daily chores or something like that, right? But it's about retraining the muscles and the gait.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I do want to respect your time. Again, I appreciate it. Anything you want to leave with?
For anybody who's listening, there's one affirmation that carried me a long way, and maybe it'll carry you some type of way. And it's a little rhyme, and it just goes like this. If it's to be, it's up to me. If there's anything you want in this world, repeat that. I would repeat that to myself so many times, especially when I didn't want to, just to remind myself that if this is to be, if the results are to be, it's up to me.
Better. Travis, thank you, brother. Don't go anywhere.
I appreciate it, Tyler.